I said, God, please hear my heart. Teach me how to divorce my wife with grace. And I said, if I can divorce my wife with grace.
Time out. We got to sit in there for a minute.
But due to decisions that I made in the marriage and things that we just couldn't overcome, it just wasn't going to be the best atmosphere to continue to thrive for whatever reason, for all the reasons. And so I looked back and I said, this is not good. And I said, so God, teach me how to divorce her with grace. And I said, if I'm successful in this, one thing that I prayed and asked God for, I said, God, I know I'm supposed to get this divorce. And it's hard for Christians to...
Yeah, I was going to, come on now. Let's talk about that.
It's hard for Christians to rationalize that because God hates divorce.
Okay, let's slow down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These people over here, 8 to 80. My mama 82.
I liken my marriage to be the cursed fig tree that Jesus passed that wasn't bearing fruit in season. And I recognized that I just couldn't thrive in that atmosphere. At that point, that was the most honest I had ever been with my ex-wife. And I told her before, I said, before I ever cheat on you again, I'm going to divorce you first. I'm not going to take you through that. Because there was some issues that we had in our marriage that just wasn't resolving itself.
The dress was not see-through. The dress was flesh color. But because you ain't never been nowhere and ain't never been exposed to nothing, furthermore, I needed to set the record straight. Y'all don't like this. I need to set the record straight. I bought the dress. And I like it. I don't care whether you like it or not. She ain't married to y'all. She married to me. Now, if you wanted a first lady that looked like Little House on the Prairie and Holly Hobbie, you got the wrong church. I wanted a wife I would rush home to, that I wanted to be excited to see. When we walked in there, I said, shake it fast, watch yourself. If you don't have nobody that you excited about, trade that booger in and find you somebody that Negroes can talk about. How did you bag that? The same way you respect me, you gonna have to respect her. And if you don't respect her, find you somewhere else to go. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me, but you ain't gonna be in my face and dishonor my wife. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I need some people that will fight for yours, that will stand for yours, that will demand respect for yours. Y'all are so busy raising up a standard based off of Eurocentric white women standards that you can't handle a woman that got hips authentically. I bought the dress, but I didn't buy the body. It came like that. Every now and again, you gotta thank God for what God gave you. And if it make people uncomfortable, let them build the bridge and get over it. That's their problem and not yours.
I told you a couple years ago that there was a problem in the black church with black women and body modification surgery, particularly with leaders of churches. I also called into question all the things that we say in the black community that God told us to do. In this case, you have Laterras Whitfield saying that God told him to divorce his wife with grace. This is his ex-wife, to divorce his ex-wife with grace. You have Dr. and Pastor Karri Bryant trying to redefine fashion, redefine the first lady, pop out with a dress that gives the illusion that she's naked. You have Pastor Jamal Bryant lying in the pulpit, saying that her body is natural. And allegedly, she definitely has a BBL. Allegedly. So you have all these things going on. All these things that take away from the message in the Bible that folks in those churches should be focused on. And many of these people don't want us to talk about it. Many of these leaders in our community do not want us to talk about these contradictions, these indiscretions, these things that raise up our brow and make us go like, this is weird. So over the course of the holiday, last couple weeks, I was getting, these different notifications or these different videos popping up within my feed on YouTube. And it was Laterras and his new wife, Ashley Woods. And I watched one interview, but then I realized that there were like 3 or 4 interviews floating out there. I watched some. Then that went to 7 or 8 interviews, and now they might be at 9 or 10 interviews. And why they were doing so many interviews is for Laterras to promote his book, but his new book. But what was confusing is we all know that Laterras just live streamed his wedding as well on the internet. This is on YouTube. You can watch it. And this is the kind of behavior that makes viewers ask questions about the intentions of the person who is putting out all this. Because we understand that Dear Future Wifey is a brand, but Laterras is a person. It gets confusing when we can't figure out who is the brand and who is the man. Who is the brand and who is the husband. And it all looks staged and intentional, that his new book conveniently comes out right after his wedding. And it's almost like, well, was the wedding promo for the book? Was the wife reveal promo for the wedding? Many of these church leaders, many of these Christian people doing a bad job with separating brand identity from who they are as a person. And although, and I have said this before, as internet personalities, we should be our brand, but are these people internet personalities, or are these people church leaders and Christian leaders? So I think one of the reasons why all of this is so confusing with Laterras, and then all this drama around Karri Bryant's dress and her body in that dress. Again, I think it all is a track record issue. And I said this in my last video. I admit to being a monitoring spirit. As people talk about monitoring spirits, I admit this. I have been monitoring this situation with Laterras, and I have been monitoring the situation with Black women, Black women's bodies, and particularly Black women who say that they are leaders in the church. I have been monitoring these things over the course of some time. And there have been, and there are a lot of contradictions. So I want to leave us with a life hack, something that has helped me recently in my personal life. Anytime I'm confused and I see things that don't make sense and I want to be critical, but it's hard to be critical because I don't want to judge. What I've been doing, and this I actually got from a book that I read. The book is called The Mountain Is You, and it is a book about personal accountability. And you can purchase it in my Amazon store if you're interested. The author is her name is Brianna West, and she does an amazing job of talking about how we could all be accountable for our own actions, because it's not about blaming God for everything. And this is a turnoff when I hear even Laterras, who said at the very beginning of this video that God told him to divorce his wife with grace. You know, did God tell Laterras not to cheat on his first wife? Because we understand that God told you to divorce your wife, but did God tell you to cheat on said wife? So as we move into 2026, I know we're tired of talking about accountability, but we all need to embrace a level of accountability. And before I say what I'm about to say, I know that there are questions around Laterras' integrity. There are questions probably about if he's selfish, because we keep seeing his wife on all these interviews, his new wife. And she's also been saying that she wants to be at home, she wants to unpack, she wants to send out thank you cards to everybody who attended their wedding. And we keep seeing her on interview after interview. And we're asking, is Laterras selfish? Is he a narcissist? Dr. and Pastor Karri Bryant, is she inconsiderate? Why does she wear bodycon dresses and preach in the pulpit with a BBL? Does she take God for a joke? Is this a fashion show? What is this? And so I'm going to share a hack. And this has helped me with dealing with people. Because oftentimes, we all think differently. We interpret things differently. Many of us have a different interpretation of the Bible and of the Word and what God is telling us to do. And some of us overly use the whole God told me to do thing. And we say that God is guiding us to do things like get BBLs that God never told us. Like spending $150,000 on a wedding, like having a wife reveal, like live streaming your wedding. Again, all these things can be grouped under things that certain people are saying that God inspired them to do. So here's the hack. In the book called, again, The Mountain Is You, Brianna West talks about that we all have an underlying commitment to something. With every decision we make, there's an underlying reason why we're making that decision. And oftentimes, when we see a person making a decision or a person moving in a certain way, and it's confusing, we don't understand, why is this person moving in this way and doing this and that? What might be helpful is for us to think about, what is this person's fundamental commitment? Now, a lot of times we can't answer this for another person because sometimes we don't know what someone's underlying commitment is, but we can speculate. And so I have speculated that Laterras' underlying commitment is to his brand. I have speculated that Karri Bryant's underlying commitment is to fashion. Once you understand what someone is fundamentally committed to, you understand the person a little bit more. If Karri Bryant is fundamentally committed to fashion, she's really not going to care about tempting men in the church, if her butt is poking out too much, if you can see the print of her behind and all that kind of stuff. It's not going to matter. She'll preach in a bodycon dress with a BBL because her underlying and fundamental commitment is to fashion. Okay? With Laterras, if his fundamental underlying commitment is to his brand, he is absolutely going to have a wife reveal to promote his wedding and a wedding to promote his book. And he's going to go on his honeymoon. And right after his honeymoon, he is going to do 10 interviews before sending those thank you cards out. Regardless of if his wife feels like doing those interviews or not, he is going to do those interviews because his underlying commitment is to his brand. This is my opinion, but I wanted to share this, and I wanted to say that I'm proud. I'm proud of all of you for not taking all this at face value, for being analytical, for being critical. And so I'm not going to say, I told you so. But I am going to say, let's keep paying attention to these folks. Let's keep monitoring what's going on in the religious, Christian, church, Black community. So like, share, and subscribe. Click the links in the description box and get to know more about me and my media business, Curated Legacy LLC. Become a channel member. If you become a channel member, you can get exclusive content by yours truly. And it also comes with other perks and benefits as well. I am a YouTube coach. I offer coaching and consulting to those who want to get started and grow their own YouTube channels, and for those who want to monetize their YouTube channel. I have a book about being an invisible Black woman on Amazon. I also have an Amazon storefront. The link for all of these things is in the description box, as well as the link to my Instagram if you would like to give me a follow over there. And my Cash App link is always in every description box of every video if you want to support the channel. I am your host, Naka, and I am here to make the invisible visible about Black women. I highlight the things that Black women typically would not tell you. And as always, stay tuned for more videos.
So you went away, but you still would stay in my dream. Now you're back for more. Why you in my reality? My head closed the door, even though my heart just won't leave. That was then, can't go back. Hurt so bad, had to block out the memory. If we try again, start from scratch. You wanna pick up where we left off, but you've been gone away. You've been gone away so long. Since you've been gone away, you've been gone away so long. I forgot your middle name, I forgot your birthday. You still wear cologne the same, like it in the worst way.